The Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den, is an incredible podcast network that offers a wide variety of entertaining and informative podcasts.
With a lineup of shows covering various topics, such as interviews with a wide variety of guests, history, music, relationships, true crime, and so much more. The Den provides content that caters to a diverse range of interests.
The hosts and guests on the Deluxe Edition Network demonstrate a deep passion and expertise in their respective fields, making each episode on each show engaging and thought-provoking.
The network fosters a sense of community by encouraging listeners to interact through live chats, social media, and forums, creating an inclusive environment for discussion and sharing opinions.
With its commitment to high-quality production, the shows in the Deluxe Edition Network continue to captivate and entertain its ever-growing audience.
Whether you're a podcast enthusiast or someone looking to explore new topics, The Den is a fantastic platform to dive into and uncover fascinating insights from experts in their fields.
The Deluxe Edition Network is the home of independent awesomeness.
To find all these great podcasts in one convenient location, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation, episode 139. That's right, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, episode 139, we're about to show you a more tender side. Romance is in the air. Time for our Valentine's Day special. And unlike last year, this time, it's not depressing. For anybody out there, if you haven't listened to our previous Valentine's Day episode from last season, we decided to do a very special episode where we talked about the most depressing films that you could possibly watch. But this year, instead of doing something depressing, we are doing a romantic movie quote episode. And for this one, we're bringing back the bracket. So we're going to look at some famous movie quotes from romantic comedies as well as romantic dramas. We're going to vote to see what is the ultimate romantic movie quotes.
We're bringing the bracket back. Yeah.
Early this year, we already did a bracket.
Well, we're getting ready for March Madness, so we're prepping ourselves.
Hey, don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. I almost read the intro to the show again. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. Find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. We are now a part of the Deluxe Edition Network. You can find out more about our podcast and other podcasts on The Den by going to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. At this point, I'd like to give a shout out to our fellow podcasts of the month. We are the podcast of the month for February for Deluxe Edition Network, as is the Friends Talking Nerdy podcast. So go ahead and check them out. They're talking all things pop culture and science and movies and all nerdy topics.
Talking about
I'd like to give a shout out to Bev's Video Kingdom. They are the Deluxe Edition Network podcast of the year. I listened to their show this week. It was very good. It was very funny. Like us, they did a Monty Python episode this week. where our episode focused more on Monty Python as a whole. They did a retro review of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and it was pretty funny because a lot of what we said, they said too, and this is prior to either of us knowing that we were doing that episode this week. Like we recorded our episode separately, but we hit a lot of the same points. And they had a couple special guests on their show from some other Den podcasts, from The Real Drunks and from Barrel Age Flicks. And it was funny when they read our promo and explained that we were a show about movies and alcohol. They were speaking to two other shows about movies about movies and alcohol. And Bev's Video Kingdom is also a show about movies and alcohol. So if you're, and I told him in our defense, when we came up with the idea 3 years ago, we thought it was pretty unique, and it wasn't until we joined the Den that we realized we weren't the only one out there. So if your appetite is all about movies and alcoholic beverages, the Deluxe Edition Network has you covered.
Definitely. Most definitely.
And speaking of that, we're going to take a quick break so that we can hear a promo from the Den for a new company that is representing us, the Coffee Brothers. When we come back, you'll be finding out what we're drinking this evening.
I love a good beer, but right now I could use a good cup of coffee.
Have you heard about Coffee Brothers?
Oh, yeah. They're that coffee company out of New York City, right?
Well, they're more like these coffee wizards of New York City. They source these amazing seasonal blends and single origin coffees. It's like a flavor adventure in every cup. And get this, they roast everything in small batches. None of that mass-produced stuff. It's like each bean gets the VIB treatment.
VIB?
Very important bean.
Sounds fancy. But is it worth it?
Definitely. Plus, they're a two-person team. I mean, that's dedication right there. Two brothers, one mission to caffeinate the world. And right now, you can save 10% on your order. I mean, who doesn't love a good discount?
All right, you've convinced me. Let's get some Coffee Brothers now.
Coffee Brothers, where every cup is a sip of perfection. Save 10% on your next order with the code FNF10. That's FNF10. Cheers to great coffee. All right. I figured I'm going to have a spot like early in the show for that.
Yeah.
So welcome back. Please make sure you use the promo code FNF10 to get 10% off your order from Coffee Brothers. And now let's find out what we're drinking this evening, gentlemen.
Alcohol. Fermentation. Alcohol, fermentations.
Mike, are you able to partake of the alcohol this week?
Yes, I am.
That's great.
So you're not on call and there's no rumbly and a tumbly tonight?
Nope, I'm good. I am. Since you're going to ask,
why don't you go first then?
So I am drinking what they call a peanut butter old fashioned. It is a 1.5 ounces of peanut butter whiskey from Old Smoky, half an ounce of their blended whiskey, 4 dashes of bitters, and their moonshine cherry as a garnish. I'm gonna get fucked up.
I was gonna say I thought the drink was a red color, but it's your cup, isn't it?
It's got the leather.
It's got the leather thing on the outside, yeah. Because I was like, all right, that's a cool Valentine's Day color to your drink, but I'm like, peanut butter's not red, so.
No, it's all brown. It's all whiskey.
It's all brown, just like it is when it comes out.
Exactly.
I decided,
unless you're peeing, in which case you need a little more hydration.
Yeah,
true enough.
Why is it coming out like maple syrup?
Because we had some Utopia from Sam. I decided this evening I was going to go somewhat themed since it's a Valentine's Day episode, and nothing says Valentine's Day more than a glass of wine. So I'm having some wine from my one of my favorite wines from Autumn Frost Cellars in Hammondsport, New York. This is their lemon lime frost spritzer. I like this one because it tastes like Sprite. It does not taste like wine, which is also kind of dangerous.
Because you're going to drink that whole bottle tonight.
Well, typically I've had this on the show like maybe 2 or 3 times before, and every single time I finished the bottle. It's only 6% alcohol by volume, but when the volume is 750 milliliters, yes, it's a problem.
When you drink the whole bottle, yes.
And I've already had half of this mason jar full of wine that I've just refilled. Because as we already established last episode, I'm kind of classy. So, Kevin, what do you got going on?
My wife was kind enough to swing by Benash Beer and Liquors and Spirits and pick me up one of their handy-dandy 12-pack mystery pack.
Nice.
And we sifted through that the other night. And she found me a Founders Vanilla Porter with subtle coffee notes and sweet vanilla aromas. This is, bear with me 1 second. 6.5% alcohol by volume, 45 IBUs. Not much more to describe it aside from robust porter with vanilla extract, malt beverage with natural flavors. And Founders is out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I like Founders. They have a good oatmeal stout that I tend to have. But this obviously is a small beer, so this will be done very quickly, to which I will switch over to my go-to of Allagash White from Portland, Oregon. Portland, right? Yeah, Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. What am I thinking of? Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine. There we go.
Right city, wrong coast.
Yes. This is a Belgian-style wheat beer with coriander and curacao orange peel.
Yes, I like Allagash White.
And their brewery was awesome. When I went up there, it was a real awesome place.
I've had Founders before, but I don't know if I've had the one you're trying.
The vanilla porter?
Yeah, but I feel like I've had a Founders beer at some point or another.
It's heavy. I mean, it's a porter, but it's good. It's good. Porters are good. This is the time of year for porters, you know. Stouts and porters around the cold months.
All right. So, Michael, anything happened this week?
This week in film history.
Should I take the first one since it's mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have another passing of a great actor this week, Carl Weathers. Probably best known for playing Apollo Creed in the Rocky franchise, or as Grief Karga in The Mandalorian for newer audiences. Passed away at the age of 76 this week. It was kind of like sudden from what I was reading, because he was, pretty much planning on being a part of the next episode or next season of Mandalorian. So, but as I was thinking about it, it reminded me of that thing. I think we've talked about this on the show before, where you can tell like how old you are by like what Tim Curry movie you think of first when you think of Tim Curry. And I feel like Carl Weathers is kind of the same thing, because it's either you recognize him as Apollo Creed, as Action Jackson, as the Major in Predator, as Chubbs in Happy Gilmore, or from The Mandalorian. So that's like 5 decades worth of career there that you can kind of recognize him for.
Or Gronk's coach for the
Gronk's coach. That's his last acting job. Did Gronk make the kick? I don't even know if I saw that
nope,
part.
He did not make the kick.
All right, then I might have some money coming to me on FanDuel. What else happened this week, Mike?
In 1914, Charlie Chaplin debuts silent film character The Tramp in Kid Auto Races in Venice.
And you might as well keep going since the next one's kind of related to that.
In 1921, Charlie Chaplin released his first full-length feature, The Kid, a silent film starring Charlie Chaplin and 6-year-old Jackie Coogan.
Jackie Coogan. Coogan. Like, that name's familiar to me. Like, and it's like I'm having trouble placing it. I want to say Jackie Coogan was one of the Little Rascals, but I'm probably wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jackie Coogan, let's say.
Jackie
Coogan. He was in Oliver Twist. And he was He was Uncle Fester on the Addams Family TV show.
Okay.
The original Addams Family.
Okay.
So like he got his start in this silent film with Charlie Chaplin, and then went on to act on the Addams Family series. What's the next one you got there, Mike?
In 1940, Walt Disney's second feature-length movie, Pinocchio, premieres in New York City.
Kind of frightening that we're getting into a era now where some of these movies will be turning 100 at some point. Like this movie is 84 years old.
Yeah.
Speaking of old.
In 1944, Captain America serial film premieres starring Dick Purcell. First appearance of a Marvel superhero outside of a comic book.
And it goes to show you that the DC Marvel rivalry goes all the way back to the 40s, because the first Batman series, which was a serial series, also premiered in the 1940s. Next, speaking of this, I think after you read this, we can spoil next week's episode.
Okay. In 1974, Mel Brooks' Western spoof film Blazing Saddles, starring Cleveland Little, Gene Wilder, premieres at the Pickwick Drive-In in Burbank, California. Patrons watched from horseback rather than cars.
That parking lot must have smelled.
I hate to be the guy cleaning up after that movie.
I know. It's like, it wasn't just popcorn. You also had,
there's a juju eating that horse shit.
Horse apples and popcorn. We normally tell everybody what the next episode is going to be at the end of the show, but we might as well spoil it now. This is the 50th anniversary of Blazing Saddles this week. I was like knocked on my ass the other night when I realized that. So our next episode 140, is going to be a look at the film Blazing Saddles in honor of its 50th anniversary.
Well,
and the last
when that same year, you don't get knocked on your ass anymore when something's going to turn 50.
Yeah, Mike's celebrating his 50th anniversary too this year, right?
Yes, I am.
Woohoo!
And the last fact there you got there, Mike.
In the honor of the Super Bowl this week, 2011, Ed Sable, co-founder of NFL Films, elected for enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes, Ed Sable, NFL. I love NFL Films.
He created it.
Yes,
he was the man.
Do you have any must-try beer or craft destinations for this evening?
I have a craft destination from California. This is Russian River Brewing, originally owned by Corbel Champagne Cellars. Russian River Brewing Company was handed over to Vinny and Catalee in 2003. It's since been one of the most popular brewing destinations in the world. They've won dozens of awards for their beers at the Great American Beer Festival and World Beer Cup. Their double IPA, Pliny the Elder, is one of the most legendary beers brewed anywhere. They have an additional location in Windsor, California, and the original location is downtown Santa Rosa. Serve small batch brews and pizza.
The one beer was called Pliny the Elder.
Yes.
Hold on. I don't think I've had it before, but I remember hearing about it before. So I have to look it up.
It's a double IPA, so you probably didn't order it if you wanted it.
Yeah, I have heard of it before though. It must have been they must have had it on tap somewhere where I was once, because I do remember seeing it before somewhere. All right. I should have asked you this before the show, Kev. Do you have any good news for us tonight?
Good news? I have news.
What
we
kind
have
of
some
news?
things going on. So based on reports of beer news and
All
beer
right,
news
hold on. Beer news is good news. Go ahead.
Unless you're Flying Fish, that is.
It
seems as if Flying Fish may have had their last hurrah this past weekend. They were discounting their drafts. They were selling their canned stuff was being discounted as well. To my understanding, they were having an auction starting today on the some of the materials inside the brewery. I believe the hope was that somebody would swoop in, buy it all, keep everybody on, and try to bring it back to life. I'm not quite sure where the resolution is on that right now. It's just a little bittersweet considering how wonderful their beers are. It's one of my favorites that are incredibly local to us.
I like Flying
Yeah, I was thinking about their Salt and Sea is one of my favorites over the summer months. Let's hope, somebody comes around and maybe brings them out of what they're going through. So that's the bad news.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me just fix this real quick before you get to the next piece. Beer news is sometimes good news.
I found this one today and I thought of my friend Mike.
All right.
And this is close enough to you, Lee, that we can make this a thing.
Okay.
Axe and Arrow in Glassboro, New Jersey is having an event called Dungeons and Drafts.
Ooh.
Dungeons and Drafts. It is taking place on Thursday, February 29th at 6 p.m. We might be able to podcast from it. And what to expect? You would join them for great drinks, adventure, and company to play D&D at Axe and Arrow Brewing. They have pre-made characters for you to choose from when you arrive so that you can jump into the action. They're happy to teach you how to play as well. And it's open to anybody. It's open to anybody who, at all experience levels, dungeon masters and paladins alike. But it is a bring your own food. They have the beer, but you need to bring your own grub if you're interested. So I saw that and I thought Mike would be interested in hearing about that.
That is, that's the one we went to, right? The three of us.
They had a lot of like the lactose and the milkshake and all. And I just looked at what they have going on right now.
We got like the playing cards that had like the names of the beers and shit.
Yeah. One I just saw on their website was a waffle cone flavored beer. I want to try it. And I have one for my dear cousin, your wife there, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
This is last week I brought you beer pairings from Evil Genius, beer pairings with the Girl Scout cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And today I found wine pairings with Girl Scout cookies. So Katie, make sure you hit the record button. You want to take some of these down.
Or you could send it to her. She doesn't listen to
Or I could send it to her. I guess I may have her mobile number.
Email it.
I can send it to her. I can write her a letter. I'll fax it to her. So if you are
a piece of stationery that says Tustin on the top.
Carrier pigeon. If you are into tagalongs and peanut butter patties, they recommend a tawny port. If you are into Zinfandels, they recommend Thin Mints. If you're like me, if you're like me and like the Samoas or the Caramel Delights, depending on which one it came from, they are recommending a Salterness. Trefoil's shortbread cookies are very well paired with an off-dry Riesling. The Adventurefuls, which are those chocolate cookies with the caramel and the fudge along the top, those go really well with a Orosolo sherry. And if you like Dositos or the peanut butter sandwich cookies, they recommend a good Prosecco.
I got to make one more change again. Hold on. Beer news is sometimes wine news, and wine news is good news. All right. That brings us to our favorite part of the show, the synopsis. According to Glip, is brought to you by Newsly.me. Newsly.me is an audio super app for I'm already fucked up. Newsly.me is an audio super app for iOS and Android that reads the news to you in a natural human voice, better than the one I'm reading in right now. Stop scrolling, start listening. Go to newsly.me today and use the promo code ANFERMENT to get your first month premium subscription for free. So GLIP is our recording program, and it always gives us a nice little synopsis of the previous episode. Our previous episode, of course, was the Monty Python episode. We did a deep dive into the history of Monty Python's flying circus. This is what GLIP had to say about that episode. The hosts were watching The Life of Brian and watched some funny skits. They discussed the pirate sketch, the Ministry of Silly Walks, and the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Evman and Mike discussed the spam. The participants are wearing the merch, and Leo and Mike are both wearing the Swims flirtation hats. That is, of course, supposed to be Films and Fermentation hats. And they are also part of the Deluxe Edition Network. It's hitting a lot of the points, though, even though it's still fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
Kevman is not feeling great, so Kevman will go first and drink a holy donut. Leo had the flesh wound. Leo discussed the missing film and the dingo's involvement. Leo and Mike discussed The Family Guy, first airs on Fox TV, and the other shows that Fox canceled after the first season. Mike wants to try the Muncher Lager from Pollen, their brewing group in Munich.
He definitely was some Muncher Lager.
Yeah. And Leo asks for a loan to have it shipped here. Kevman and Mike are discussing the beer they had at dinner and the name of it. The host spoke about the recording program they use and the synopsis they give. Glip decided it needed to include itself this week.
I'm promoting myself, damn you.
I don't think I need to go through this like I usually do. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory this week.
It's pretty dead on, yeah.
Especially the munching lagers and the involvement of the dingo. So that was our synopsis. According to Glip, we're going to take another short break, play some promos from our fellow Den podcasts. When we come back, we're going to get romantic with you. We're going to look at some quotes from romantic films and vote you via bracket which one is the all-time romantic movie quotes. So we'll be right back after this short break.
Are you a fan of all things nerdy? Do you love delving into the latest pop culture trends while also staying updated on the news of the day?
Hey there, fellow enthusiasts. Professor Aubrey here, and I'm thrilled to invite you to join us on Friends Talking Nerdy podcast, where we dive deep into all things geeky, from movies and TV shows to video games and comics.
That's right, folks. It's Tim the Nerd, your friendly neighborhood geek, ready to discuss the latest professional wrestling updates alongside our takes on tech innovations in the entertainment industry.
But that's not all. We also understand the importance of mental health, and we weave in thoughtful discussions on self-care and mindfulness.
So, if you want to geek out while also taking care of your well-being, tune in to Friends Talking Nerdy.
Friends Talking Nerdy, where pop culture meets mindfulness. Listen now on all major podcast platforms.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom. Because the movies won't talk about themselves. So Andy crawls through this river of shit. He comes out, visits a dozen banks, and no one's like, I'm a little concerned about the guy in the suit.
Right.
It smells like shit.
You mean the guy that literally washed himself in a river full of shit and is supposed to smell good?
Dude, that's completely the mall rat stink palm, which takes like 3 or 4 days to wash off.
Oh, last time I scratched my ass, it smelled like Bigfoot's dick for a week.
Bev's Video Kingdom. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back from our short break, and we are ready to get a little romantic with you.
So this is love. So this is what makes life.
I love it! You guys are so great!
A whole lot going on there.
Yes.
Hello. we are opening up the bracket to some romantic quotes. The west side of the bracket is going to be the romantic comedies. The east side of our bracket are romantic dramas.
I love you.
I know. I love you. You complete me.
After all this time.
As you wish.
You make me want to be a better man.
That's maybe the best compliment of my life.
So I'm going to read to you the quotes that we came up with for this, starting with the 8th seed down to the number 1 seed for each side of the bracket. And I'll let you know what some honorable mentions are that we have as well, because there's a few that almost made the cut. On the comedy side, the 8th seed from the film Juno, starring Michael Cera and Elliot Page. He's the cheese to my macaroni. The 7th seed from 10 Things I Hate About You, starring Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles. This is the poem that Julia Stiles reads at the end of the movie. I hate the way you talk to me, the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive my car. I hate the way you stare. I hate your big dumb combat boots and the way you read my mind. I hate you so much that it makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme. And then she goes on to say, the thing that I hate the most is that I can't hate you, or whatever it is she says at the end there. Number
and
6
is a
is
very good interpretation from the original Shakespeare poem that was in Taming of the Shrew.
You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan is the number 6 seed in romantic comedies. This is Meg Ryan saying to Tom Hanks at the end of the film, I wanted it to be you. I wanted it to be you so badly. Despite the fact that motherfucker put her out of business, but whatever. Speaking of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, number 5 seed is Sleepless in Seattle. This is Tom Hanks talking about his wife on the radio show that he calls into. His wife has passed away in the film, and he's raising his son on his own. And the radio host asked him to describe what it was like the first time he met his wife. And he said, I knew it the first time I touched her. It was like coming home, only to no home I'd ever known. I was just taking her hand to help her out of the car, and I knew it. It was like magic. Number 4, we have Notting Hill with Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts. Don't forget, I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her. I know you threw up a couple times when I was putting this list together. I just want you to know. Number 3 comes from Mike's favorite film, Love Actually, also starring Hugh Grant. It seems to me that love is everywhere. Often it's not particularly dignified or newsworthy, but it's always there. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that love actually is all around.
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes.
Love it. Oh, shit, fought bugger ass head and hole. Number 2, Harry Met Sally, starring Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. This is Billy Crystal finally proclaiming his love for Sally at the end of the film. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, You want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
I'll have what she's having.
And then the last one, the number one seed on the comedy bracket side from The Princess Bride. As you wish.
Oh my goodness.
On the drama side, from Titanic, the 8th seed. I'll never let go, Jack. Yes,
but I won't share a door with you, bitch.
But she did let go. He fucking sunk to the ocean and died. Number 7 seed, Pride and Prejudice. You can pick whichever version of it you want. They're all the same. You have bewitched me, body and soul, and I love you. I never wish to be parted from you from this day on. Number 6 seed, Casablanca. There were actually a few from this I could have chosen, but I went with probably the most iconic one. Here's looking at you, kid. The 5 seed, Brokeback Mountain with Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. I wish I knew how to quit you. From Jerry Maguire, we have a twofer here because this is Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger speaking to each other. You complete me. You had me at hello. You had me at hello. Number 3 seed, As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt. You make me want to be a better man.
Great line.
Number
was
2.
Was he Richard Nixon in that?
Yes, that was it. You make me want to be a better man. I am not a crook. Number 2, I actually made an addendum to this because I totally forgot this one. I was like, how the fuck did I forget this? So I had to switch things out. But the number 2 seed is from Empire Strikes Back. I love you. I know. And the number 1 seed, and I'm sorry, I think Empire Strikes Back, you could argue should have been a number 1 seed, but I love this line too much for it not to be the number 1 seed. From Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, Severus Snape. Always.
Always.
And I always think of this meme I saw about the Twilight books from Stephanie Meyer, and it says always. J.K. Rowling managed to sum up love in one word better than Stephanie Meyer's did in 7 books. And then we have some honorable mentions here. Just missing the cut. The classic line from the movie Love Story. Love means never having to say you're sorry. Now, I know the line is iconic, but having been with my wife for over 25 years now, I can honestly say I love her dearly, but I have said I'm sorry a lot.
A lot.
From The Fault in Our Stars, I fell in love the way you fall asleep, slowly and then all at once. Oh. Good Will Hunting. I got to go see about a girl.
How about Team Apples?
Son of a bitch stole my line.
Oh no, there's a couple more on here. Okay.
From the 1944 classic To Have or Have Not. You know how to whistle, Steve. Just put your lips together and blow. I also have from Casablanca, we'll always have Paris. And from The Notebook. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. We're going to have to work at this every day. But I want to do that because I want you. I want all of you forever. You and me. Every day. This is by far the sappiest episode we've ever done. So, getting to the brackets. It's going to be the top seed versus the lowest seed and working its way through the bracket that way. So let's start with the number 1 seed on the comedy side, The Princess Bride, As You Wish, versus the 8th seed, Juno. He's the, what did I say that line was?
He's the cheese
to my macaroni. Princess Bride. I think you know my answer. You win. I think you know I'm going with The Princess Bride.
I love The Princess Bride, but I think Juno's just a more clever quip, if you will.
It is. It's a clever quip.
Mm-hmm.
It hits me right here.
I don't know where you're pointing to. I can't see, but I'm not sure I want to know. No, sit down, dude. Keep your pants on.
No, I got my pants on.
What do you got?
No, it hits the man right in the stomach. That's where man.
That's where mac and cheese goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a man's
The
heart
way
is.
to a man's heart is through his stomach.
So I'm going
he's the
Princess
cheese
Bride.
macaroni.
Kevin's going Juno. Mike.
Princess Bride.
All right. Let's go over to the drama bracket and do the number 1 seed, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, always, versus the Titanic. I'll never let go, Jack.
Because she's a lying bitch. Always.
You know I'm going Harry Potter. Kev, how about you?
I'm going Harry Potter on this one.
That's a clean sweep on that one there. Back on the comedy side, the 2 seed, When Harry Met Sally. That's Harry's whole speech at the end of the film. Versus 7 seed, 10 Things I Hate About You. The love poem that Julia Stiles writes and reads at the end. Kev, you got
I'm going to go with Harry. I think Harry.
I agree with you totally. I love 10 Things I Hate About You. It's one of my wife's favorite films. I love Harry Met Sally. It's one of my all-time films, not just like, films that my wife and I can watch together. I love that. But
I'll have what you guys are having.
All right, so Mike's taking the vote too, even though it didn't really matter at that point. But then we're going to go back to drama side. We have The Empire Strikes Back, the 2 seed, I Love You, I Know, versus number 7, Pride and Prejudice. I love you, I love you, I love you, all that good stuff.
You picked the Valentine's Day card for my wife that said, I love you, I love you, I love you, and all that stuff. All that good stuff. With
all
glitter.
that jazz. Empire.
Empire,
I think, yeah.
Empire.
Blasphemy. Empire's the better story. Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out Vader is father. Han gets frozen in carbonite. It ends on a down note. That's what life is, a series of down endings. All Return of the Jedi had was a bunch of Muppets. From Clerk, I should have put Clerks on this list. How many dicks did you suck on your way to the parking lot?
Yeah, you're right.
Plenty of fine-looking women in the world, but not all of them bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you. See, I got a romantic line out of Clerks. All right, so I think we're all going Empire, right, on this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. That brings us back to the comedy side. 3 seed, Love Actually, versus 6 seed, You Got Mail. Mike, you got first vote on this one, Mike.
Let's see what we got. I'll read them again.
So Love Actually, it's the opening monologue of the film. Love actually is all around us, which for some reason I read like William Shatner.
I'm going to go with I wanted it to be you. I wanted to be you so badly.
You've Got Mail as Mike's vote. Kev.
Yeah. I think I'm going to agree with Mike. You've Got Mail seems to take it. But I do have to point out 2 Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks movies on here, and Joe versus Volcanoes nowhere on here. And I can't think of a more romantic movie than Joe versus Volcanoes.
I know. I could have put the Money Pit on here. The Bachelor Party. I could have put the Burbs.
No, I'm just saying you put the trifecta of Meg and Tom together.
I could have put Philadelphia on here because I'm pretty sure Tom Hanks and Antonio Banderas had a really, really good relationship in that film. I was going to go with Love Actually, but I had a feeling it didn't matter anyway. I had a feeling both of you guys were going to go with You've Got Mail, and I'm okay with it because I actually enjoy that movie. So, and that brings us to the 4th seed, Notting Hill. I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. Versus number 5, Sleepless in Seattle. Tom Hanks' speech.
I thought we were going back over to the dramatic side.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do that. Let's do that. So back to the dramatic side. The 3 seed, As Good as It Gets. You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man. Versus Casablanca. Here's looking at you, kid. That's a tough one. Casablanca is a fucking classic, but at the same time, that line from As Good as It Gets is amazing.
Actually, a lot of the lines from As Good as It Gets were
there
pretty
are a
cool.
lot of good lines.
It's a great line.
When he's trying to describe how he writes for a woman.
How do you write women so well? I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
But when a woman wants to makes you feel like you want to be a better man for her, that just says it all.
I can tell you that the scene starts with him. She's like, "You need to pay me a compliment right now, or I'm going to leave." And he goes, "So the doctor gave me these pills that are supposed to help me with my condition, and I started taking these pills, And then he stops talking. And she goes, I fail to see how that's a compliment. And that's where he goes, you make me want to be a better man. So it's like that's the lead up to that line, which is great. I'm going as good as it gets, I think.
I'm going as good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
All right.
We'll always have Paris.
We'll always have Paris.
We'll always have.
So now back to the comedy side. Notting Hill, the 4th seed. I'm a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her, versus Tom Hanks' speech about his wife in Sleepless in Seattle, the 5th seed.
I'm going to go Sleepless.
I said, as much as well known as that line is in Notting Hill, I'm not a big fan of that movie, and I think that line's kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go with the Tom Hanks one because
that one's go with Sleepless too. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's like so much more heartfelt, I feel.
Yeah, it is.
And back to the drama side. Although I think you could argue Jerry Maguire might be considered a little bit of a comedy, but I felt it's more dramatic.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Ambassador of Kwan.
I was going to say I should have put that in as a romantic line. You're my ambassador of Kwan, man. There's so many things in that I could read. You said fuck. I won't tell. Jerry Maguire, 4th seed for You Had Me at Hello and You Complete Me, versus Brokeback Mountain. I just don't know. I wish I knew how to quit you.
Both are very good movies, but I think You Complete Me is a better romantic line than I just don't know how to quit you.
Michael, what do you say?
I'm gonna have to agree with Kevin on that one. It's a tough choice, but I'm gonna have to go with You Complete Me is more romantic.
I think it's more iconic, although my vote's going to Brokeback Mountain just because I don't want it to not get a vote because I love that line. And it is
a very good line.
It's a tragic film. It's a good movie, but the Jerry Maguire line, I think it's just been it's like become part of the pop culture. Even if you haven't seen the film, you know the line.
Yeah, think of it this way. Which one of those would look best on a Valentine's Day card? You Complete Me, or
I wish I knew how to quit you. That's what you put on the card when you get a divorce. And it's like, yeah, I figured out how to quit you. All right. So that brings us down to the second round here. In the second round on the comedy side, we have the 1 seed Princess Bride versus the 2 seed When Harry Met Sally. Ooh. And then the 6th seed, You've Got Mail versus the 5th seed Sleepless in Seattle. It's a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan face-off. It's like no matter who wins, they win. On the drama side, we have 1st seed Harry Potter versus the 2nd seed Empire Strikes Back. 3rd seed As Good as It Gets versus 4th seed Jerry Maguire. These are like pretty tough.
Yeah, that's why you should always put number 2 in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I know. So number 1, The Princess Bride, As You Wish, versus number 2, Harry Speaks to Sally at the end of When Harry Met Sally. I love both movies. I really do. I can watch Princess Bride all the time, though. So I'm going Princess Bride.
I love them both, but honestly, between the two of them, which one is more romantic? I think Harry going up to Sally after years of friends and not friends and lovers and everything, and he goes, you know, and you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want the rest of your life to start right away. I think that holds a lot more power than As You Wish. As You Wish could be said by Alfred to Batman. And, you know,
yes, but
because he's Batman's like father figure, he says he's saying he loves him.
Yeah, but what you're missing in that is that was Wesley's way of saying I love you without saying I love you to her.
And then
why couldn't he say I love you to her?
But then also,
because he was just,
but then he chastises her for moving on to Humperdinck.
Oh,
he was testing her. And then at the end, you have the grandfather saying it to Fred Savage. So it's, comes back around at the end.
I'm going with Princess Bride. As You Wish.
Princess
because of
Bride
the
makes it
classism,
to.
he couldn't say that I love you out loud to her.
That's the semifinal. Princess Bride makes it to semifinal. Let's go over to the drama side. Harry Potter Always versus Empire Strikes Back. I Love You, I Know.
Not sensing objectivity from you, gentlemen. Just saying.
Oh, let's see.
All right, I told you how much I love the Always line from Harry Potter. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in movie history. But the number 2 seed is Empire Strikes Back, and that's pretty iconic too. So I'm going Empire.
I'm going Empire.
Michael,
I'm going Always. Just because of the character who says it.
Yeah, just always.
No, not because of the actor, because of the character who through the whole series is a villain.
Lily's Patronus. Even now? Always.
Always.
Always. Let's take a little break here to discuss the only really good Super Bowl commercial last night. Christopher Walken selling an electric car. And
Yes.
everybody in the commercial doing their Christopher Walken impression for Christopher Walken. It's like he can't go anywhere without somebody doing a Christopher Walken impression.
Exactly.
So back on the comedy side, we have the 6th seed You've Got Mail versus the 5th seed Sleepless in Seattle. Again, it doesn't matter who wins because Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan both win. So,
oh, what is the better?
For me personally, I think the Sleepless in Seattle monologue is the better of the two because it's more. It's him, talking about this woman that he loved so much who he lost.
Yeah.
Whereas the line in You've Got Mail, You've Got Mail, it's an entertaining enough movie, but I still can't get over the fact that she falls in love with the guy who essentially destroyed her business.
Well, he expresses that in an email very eloquently. How can you not forgive me for this one little thing of putting you out of business? You know,
like I keep quoting the Godfather.
I mean, that whole interaction is awesome from a love movie perspective.
That's the one you should have put in here.
What?
Fredo, you're my brother and I love you, but you broke my heart.
I was going to say he keeps in You've Got Mail. He keeps quoting that it's business, it's not personal. Well, I'm going Sleepless. What do you guys want?
I'm going Sleepless because the love for her past wife is just
sentimental. Michael. I mean, it doesn't matter, but Sleepless. Yeah,
it's Sleepless. It's a better
right.
line.
And then back to the comedy or drama side, rather. As Good as It Gets, the 3 seed versus Jerry Maguire, the 4 seed. So it's You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man versus You Completely. You Have Me at Hello.
I'm going with As Good as It Gets. You make me
I'm going Jerry Maguire.
Oh fuck.
He left it for Leo to decide.
I don't like being the deciding vote. That's why I try to get you guys to vote first.
I know.
Turn them against each other.
I'm going.
Unless he really wants one. He wants to, this is the one it's going to be.
This hurts so much. Both of these have become lines, like I said, that are so iconic that they're like in the lexicon, even if you've never seen the film. Like, I think people can say You Completely, or You Had Me at Hello, or You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man without even realize what they're quoting because they've become so popular.
Which one makes for a better Valentine's Day card?
Probably You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man.
Again, anytime you want to change for someone is a very strong thing.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go with As Good as It Gets. So that brings us down to the final round. We have the 1st seed, Princess Bride, As You Wish, versus the 5th seed, Sleepless in Seattle, Tom Hanks' monologue about his wife. And on the drama side, we have the 2 seed, Empire Strikes Back, I Love You, I Know, versus As Good as It Gets, You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man.
Where are we starting, Lee? Back to the comedy side again?
So we'll start with the comedy side again. So it's Princess Bride versus Sleepless in Seattle.
I'm going Sleepless.
He's going to I knew you were going Sleepless.
Hey, look, man, I love The Princess Bride. I do. But when you're thinking of the quote, just the quote, I'm going Sleepless.
Okay. Well, I'm going Princess. So we know Princess is winning because Mike and I are both going for it. And then that's Empire versus As Good as It Gets.
Oof.
As much as I love Empire, I'm stuck on this one too. Like, this is a really tough one.
Well, I've been fighting for it all night, so I'm going to go as good as it gets.
I was going to say, I feel like they're going to take my Star Wars card away from me, but I think I'm going As Good as It Gets.
Could you see Han Solo saying, "You make me want to be a better man"? To
he
Princess
did. He
Leia?
said, "I know." He makes up for it in return. He goes, "I love you," and she says,
"No,
I
know." But I mean, not that Leia would want him to change because she likes the what's he refer to himself as
scoundrel.
Yeah.
He's a scoundrel.
Scoundrel, right?
There are no scoundrels.
Use a good scoundrel in your life. You gotta use a good kiss.
Doesn't matter. My vote doesn't matter.
Rather kiss a Wookiee. That could be arranged.
He could use a good kiss.
So I went As Good as It Gets. Mike went As Good as It Gets. So Kev, you can vote on either one you want. Doesn't matter. As Good as It Gets makes it to the next round.
I vote on the field.
We know you will. So that brings us to the last round, our final, As You Wish from The Princess Bride versus the 3 seed As Good as It Gets. You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man. Michael?
No, Kevin?
About to hurt your feelings.
No, Mike and I went first the last two. You go first.
I'm about to hurt Mike's feelings. Love Princess Bride. Quote it with all my heart. I don't think As You Wish is as good as You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man. So my vote's going for As Good as It Gets.
Kev?
We know Kevin's not voting for Princess Bride.
Kev, go ahead.
I think I'm going to go with As Good as It Gets too.
Michael?
Always.
That wasn't one of the choices.
Okay, always
the field.
The field.
No, I'm going to go with As Good as It Gets.
Oh, with a unanimous vote in the last round, the winner is the 3rd seed from the drama bracket, As Good as It Gets, Jack Nicholson to Helen Hunt. You Make Me Want to Be a Better Man. I should point out at this point that I had asked on Twitter if anybody had a favorite romantic quote from cinema, and many of the submissions I got were pretty much the ones that we had on the bracket tonight, or some of the honorable mentions. Although I did have one person who I'm not giving credit to this because I know that they were just fucking around, and I don't know if they deserve for that kind of for a joke like this, but they voted on Silence of the Lambs. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard.
Jesus.
So, Michael.
It puts a lotion on its skin and it gets the hose again.
She a big fat lady. At least he didn't say it was Miggs's line to Jodie Foster. Any beer trivia history for us this evening, Mike, before we get too far out of line here?
I got a fun beer fact.
Okay.
This is from Wednesday of last week, or the 7th, last Wednesday. Sure, Valentine's Day is in a week, but why should the lovers have all the fun? February 7th is actually National Fettuccine Alfredo Day, and it deserves its own celebration. What beer do you pair with the creamy comfort dish? Something bitter, robust, and or roasty will cut through the richness of the cream. Oatmeal stout, or even an IPA will make an excellent table mate.
I did have Alfredo on National Alfredo Day because I saw it on Instagram earlier that day, and I texted Katie in the morning, and I was like, "Hey, we're ordering dinner tonight because I want fettuccine Alfredo." I ended up having it for dinner on Fettuccine Alfredo Day.
Nice.
Let's revisit our drinks. We'll go backwards than the way we started. So, Kevin, how are your beers this evening?
The vanilla porter was tasty. Very good. I enjoyed it. It is gone. I polished it off. And I have, gone into my Allagash White, which is also quite tasty.
I was drinking the Lemon Lime Frost Spritzer from Autumn Frost Winery in Havensport, New York. The bottle is empty, as you can see. And I have this many left. Michael, how was your cocktail this evening?
Very good. It's a little sweet, but because of the peanut butter whiskey, but not bad. I like it.
All right. So that was our Valentine's Day episode.
So this is love. So this is love.
And for all you lovers out there, our winner again was the drama 3-seed As Good as It Gets. Jack Nicholson to Helen Hunt. You make me want to be a better man. So thank you for joining us this evening for episode 139. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. You can give us show ideas, drink suggestions, or just say hi. We're always checking for some messages. You could also go to linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media podcast links. You can become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. Don't forget to visit The Den, the Deluxe Edition Network, to see more about our podcast and our fellow podcast of the month, Friends Talking Nerdy. Make sure you check out some of the other podcasts on the network, like the Deluxe Edition podcast, Beb's Video Kingdom, The Real Drunks, Barrel Age Flicks, etc. Next week, we are going to be celebrating episode 140. We're getting there, man. We're getting up there in episodes. So don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next time around. For episode 140, we're going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Mel Brooks classic Blazing Saddles, which came out this week back in 1974.
Where the white women at?
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Miss Lamar, your tongue's prettier than a $20 whore.
Carlton does so much fun with his stunts with so small feet.
It's true. It's true. I'm tired of being. So once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
You've been listening to the Films and Fermentation podcast. Happy Valentine's Day and cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm on
No.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening!